games.
Well, no, it's just that I've never understood why in Olympics and stuff like that, if you're going to watch, don't stand around the start line, go to the end where you see the winner. But because of that saying, it actually makes sense. And it's like, well, every step starts with a step or whatever.
Say again?
Every race, you know, you've got to start with a step.
Yeah.
If you want to stay at the start line, do.
What does that mean?
I'm just saying, if you're into... I wouldn't watch a race, right?
Okay.
But all I'm saying is,
right,
if I was to watch a race,
yeah,
I wouldn't hang about the start line, because...
Well, you just said you would.
What, did I?
Yeah, you said that's the place to start, because every race starts with a step.
No, but I wouldn't normally. When I was on holiday,
yeah,
Suzanne said there's a race going on down the road.
Yeah.
I'd go, well, let's go, keep going down the road and stand at the finish line.
Okay, but now what have you got?
According to Lazoo, yeah, I'd say, well, hang on a minute, every race starts with a single step.
Yeah.
How many people around the start line? Is there more room there? She goes, yeah. I'll go, let's go there then, it's less busy.
Right, and what would you see there then?
I'd see people starting the race, but I wouldn't be that impressed with them, because I'd go, well, I don't know if any of these are any good.
So would you start at the start or the end then?
If it was down to me, I'd just probably stay at the finish line.
Okay, so you wouldn't want to see the first step then? So what do you think of Lazoo now then?
I preferred the leading people from behind.
Okay, and what would you do to lead someone now then?
Well, if you're behind, you don't have to take responsibility, do you? You can go, well, I didn't send you, you went there.
That's not really leading them, though, is it?
Yeah, because I've made them think. I've gone, they go, oh, I've just walked into a big hole. I'd go, oh, you should have been looking where you're going. I haven't led them in that hole, but they've learnt a lesson, they won't go in a hole again.
Conversations I've ever been a part of. I mean, that was incredible. Never mind Aristotle and Socrates. That was incredible, that. That was incredible, Carl.
One of the key catchphrases, if you like, from the war, Carl, was, of course, keep the home fires burning.
Is that like saying, you're away, but don't worry, when you come home, the house is warm?
Pretty much.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Never forget where you're from, we're remembering
We're
you.
here, waiting for you.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't say what it means, so there's you know, risking your life, and you're getting a letter from home saying we've got the heating on. Again, working hard, paying the bills, they've got the heating blaring. Put your coat on. Start panicking, we're keeping the home fires burning. What? I didn't know, what do you mean, what fire? When have we had that in? I thought we had central heating. Who's she got in? Who's this bloke who's moved in, changed the heating system? It's all extra hassle. Do you know, yeah, this is why it's best not hearing from people. I was in the jungle, wasn't I? Yeah. Right? For this programme. Suzanne.
Just it should explain that Carl wasn't on manoeuvres. We sent Carl around the world for a programme, yeah.
Well, hang on, though, I want to hear about the fact he was in the jungle and he didn't want to hear anything from home because...
No, on a lot of the trips, I had a phone now and again, so I could call Suzanne. When I was in the jungle, I was out of contact for like 5 days. Nothing. Didn't know what was going on where. Right? I get out of the jungle, I call Suzanne up. Everything all right? Yeah. What bills have we got? And then I said, how was it? And she said it was reassuring, you know, it was all right, and it's reassuring that if you died, it'd be all right.
What?
That was from Suzanne.
What do you mean?
Because she sort of, it was like I was dead for 5 days. She said things weren't that bad. I still got stuff sorted out. It's reassuring.
She said what? She said... You called her up after 5 days of being in the jungle, eating grubs and having things try to climb up your knob.
Yeah, surviving.
Right.
There's me, the first phone call I get, I put the phone on. I'm going to call Suzanne, let her know I'm all right.
Sorry, and you could get the phone calls in the jungle, but you didn't want to. What do you mean you turned the phone? I thought you meant you were...
No, it was off because there's no signal.
You got out of the jungle?
You got
out of the jungle,
right.
Put the phone on.
Yeah.
Thinking, right, I'll call Suzanne, let her know I'm all right. I've been to Ellen back here. Call her up, everything all right. You know, what's it been like? I said, that's the longest we've ever gone, isn't it? I don't think I've ever gone 24 hours without talking to her for 17 years. Yeah. Suddenly, there's a week when I'm not talking to her.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, it started off weird, but it's reassuring that if you were dead, I can handle it. Because she said, I sorted everything out still. I could handle it if you weren't here.
What offended you most? The fact that you did that you want her to be dependent on you, or the fact that you realise you make no difference at all in her life?
Well, it's a bit annoying, isn't it? They forget, don't they? The bills weren't as piling up as much as they normally do. That's the only thing they ever get through the door. You know, when there's a postal strike, carry on. I'm not interested. You're only bringing bills to the door anyway. Carry on striking. There wasn't that much post. There wasn't that many bills to sort out. There wasn't problems with the boiler. She's forgetting all this. So I'd like to go back in the jungle, just as the boiler's sort of, the flame starts to flicker, and about to go out. Let's see you then. That's what I'd say to any soldiers listening to this before you leave home.
Yeah.
Just leave everything. Break a few things, don't pay the bills, and then go. And they'll miss you more.
Yeah, well, that's great advice to people overseas. Let me just reiterate that. Next time, when you come home, have a great time with your wife and kids. See your mum and dad and your family. But then, when you've just got to go back into active service, just smash the place and shit everywhere. Thanks. Carl, what's your thoughts on poetry?
I've never really been a fan of it.
There's a surprise.
It's sold in a bad light. It's a bit sort of... bit gay, isn't it? I mean, it depends what sort you're talking about, because maybe there's poetry out there that I haven't heard.
There's some poetry gayer than others.
Yeah.
War poetry can't be gay, can it? That was people...
I haven't heard. Go on.
People fighting in the trenches and... can't be gay. They weren't gay. They were writing to their sweetheart. I don't know his name. Might have been a bloke. I don't know. But
so was it a sort of a, what sort of poem was it? Was it a sort of a limerick, sort of a?
No, it was. Well, there's famous ones, Wilfred Owen and Siegfried Sassoon, and they're very moving. They're about, you know, what usually happens is that they talk about why are we here? This is, you know, we've been sold a lie here, you know, and they really started seeing war in a different light from their point of view in the trenches. Famously, some of them died soon after the, you know.
But I prefer a proper letter. No sort of crypticness. That's the problem with poems.
Okay, so you'd have been disappointed to get Dulce et Decorum Est through the post, would you? You'd have just said, what are you trying to say, mate? What's the weather like? When you're coming home? Did you get my socks?
Well, yeah, sometimes life is a bit like that, and it's like, say what you mean.
Right. Well, then you have just wiped all art off the face of the earth if you literally just say what you mean.
No, I'm just saying in a letter. Say if I was a woman and my fella was fighting in a war.
Right. What's your fella's name?
Harry.
Okay, so Harry. Oh, let me get this right. So when were you married?
About 1935.
1935. So you've been married about 4 years.
Yeah.
Harry, why don't you go off? Oh, you're a woman, aren't you? You don't. Okay. So what did you see in Harry? Why did you like Harry? Was he?
He just was like funny.
Butch.
He wasn't that butch, but that didn't matter back then, did it? In the war.
No. And you
took everyone.
But what did you say when Harry had said to you?
Well, I thought it was coming because a lot of our friends ended up having
Did you
to
just
go
hug him and say don't go or something?
No point, because that would have just made it tough for him. So what's the point? Just go with it.
But if he
I cried after he went.
You cried after he went?
That's what you do, innit? You wouldn't do it in front of him. He's got to go to battle.
Okay, so your man goes off to battle.
Right. Then I get a letter from the Colonel saying, "Oh, bit of bad news. Harry's dead." Now I get a letter in the post.
He said what he meant, didn't he? In the...
Well, yeah, and they would do, wouldn't they? They wouldn't funny around saying, "Oh, he was on the warpath and the cloud went dark." I go, well, "What? Just tell me what happened. I don't want a weather forecast."
He got shot at the arse and the bullet came out his head.
Right. Now, the Colonel, he would just tell me the basics. Now, because he sent his by
Telegram.
They sent a telegram. The letter I get from Harry has been stamped, so I get it late.
Oh, okay.
So I get a letter from Harry after he's died.
Yeah. Right, and you know he's dead.
I know he's dead, so I get this letter with his handwriting on. I'm devastated because I was just getting over his death.
Yeah.
It's all brought back to me when this letter drops through the post.
Well, yeah, 3 days and you're pretty much over it.
It's Harry's handwriting.
Yeah.
Oh God, what's this?
What's
now I
written?
open it.
Yeah.
And instead of saying things are bad here, socks are damp, you know, everything's grim, it's cold, I'm sick of it. There's a poem. It wouldn't feel like it was from Harry.
Well,
Because it's not in his words. Poems are never in the person's words.
But didn't you know Harry was a poet when you married him and made love to him
No,
that
I
night?
picked it up because other people were doing it. Something to do in the trenches.
But when he carried you over the threshold, Carl, and he laid you down and gently kissed you, didn't he say any? Didn't he ever show you?
He must have whispered some sweet nothings into
No,
your
it wasn't
hysterical
like
red
that.
head.
It wasn't
No,
like that. Straight
no.
to the point. It was like, get your knickers off.
That's one of the weirdest fucking scenarios I've ever heard. Why was the telegram coming before the letter? So specific. It wasn't like Harry. The fuck's Harry? Oh God.